Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture video. This is the second video of chapter 6, and in this video I'm going to talk about key features of a bond and bond valuation. So first of all, let's learn some terminologies about a bond. So first of all, face value. So face value is the value that will be paid at the maturity. Okay. So when a corporation issues a bond, it carries a face value and it represents the issuer's promise that this face value will be paid at the maturity. And this is also known as par value. Okay. Coupon is the stated interest rate on the bond. For example, when a bond is issued, its coupon rate is 10%. And let's say the face value is $1,000, then the 10% of 1,000, which is 100, that is the coupon, and that's the stated coupon, which will be paid periodically, let's say annually. Maturity is the length of time when the principal will be paid back. For example, a 10-year bond, 20-year bond. So at the end of this maturity, the principal will be paid back. Coupon interest rate, once again, is just a stated rate on a bond. As I said, for example, a bond is issued and it carries a coupon rate of 10%, which means that this is the fixed or stated interest rate that will be paid to the bondholder. Yield to maturity, this is also an interest rate, but this is not the stated rate that is paid on the bond. Rather, this is a discount rate. This is the required rate of return of an investor on the bond. That means the rate of return that an investor will want to earn from the similar risk class bond. Okay, so this discount rate will be used to find out the intrinsic value of a bond or the present value of the cash flows associated with a bond. Now, bond value equation or bond pricing equation. Look, at any given point in time, when an investor wants to issue a bond or an issuer wants to find out the issue price, then this bond price equation may be used to find out the value of a bond. So this is essentially an annuity formula. You remember in the previous week, we have learned about annuity, where a periodic payment, equal periodic payment goes for a particular time period. So bond has a similar cash flow because it has a stated coupon, which is paid periodically for a certain time period. Okay, so that part is the annuity. And the principal is also paid back at the maturity. So that part is a lump sum payment. Okay, so you can see that the bond value essentially is the present value of the coupon payment and the present value of the face value. Okay, so you can see it has two parts. This is the present value of the coupon payments, and this is the present value of the face value. Okay, so this is the simple present value formula. So face value divided by 1 plus r power t. And this is the present value interest factor of an annuity, and this is coupon payment. Okay, so as we sum these two, we get the bond value. So as I mentioned, that bond value is the present value of coupons and the present value of par values. Okay, just one last point in this slide is, this R is the discount rate, or as I said, that's the opportunity cost of capital. That is also the required rate of return. So if this interest rate increases, bond value will decrease, because as the interest rate increases, you want to earn more return as an investor, right? And you can earn more return if you can buy the bond at a lower price. Okay, so the price of the bond should decrease if that ensures this required rate of return to an investor. So look at this example. Barramundi Fishing Limited issues a bond with a $1,000 face value, 10 years to maturity, and annual coupon of $80. The yield to maturity is 8%. what would the bond sell for? Okay. So look, if we find out the present value of the face value, so face value is 1,000. So this is the present value of face value. This is simple present value formula, and then present value of annuity, right? So present value of annuity, this is the annuity payment, and this is present value interest factor of an annuity. And if we sum them up, then we find out that the present value is 536.18. Okay, so it means that the bond should be sold for 536 now. That means if you buy this bond at 536 now, and you get $80 as a coupon over the life of the bond and get the principal back at the maturity, then you earn a return of 8%. Okay, so you earn an yield to maturity. That means your overall return up to the maturity is so 536 is the present value of the annuity, and if we sum them up, so you can see that it is $1,000. Okay, so that is the price at which the bond would be issued. Okay, so once again, the value of a bond is the present value of the principal and present value of the coupon payment, and if we sum them up, that's the value of a bond. So this is an example of the cash flow associated with the bond. You can see that coupon is paid over the life of the bond, and at the maturity, both the coupon and the principal is paid. The coupon of the last year and the principal is paid. Okay, so look at this example. Consider a bond with a coupon rate of 8% and coupons paid annually. The par value is $1,000. The bond has 9 years to maturity. The yield to maturity is 10%, and you need to find out what is the value of the bond. Once again, the value of the bond is present value of annuity and present value of the face value. Okay, so you can see that the present value of the annuity and the present value of the face value is together is 884.82. That means this is the price at which the bond should be sold now. Okay, now you need to understand one point, that the coupon rate of the bond is 8%, whereas the required rate of return is 10%. Okay, the par value of the bond is 1,000. That's the value that will be paid at the maturity. However, you see that the current value of the bond is 884. Now, this is obviously less than the face value. Okay, and this is less than the face value because the yield to maturity is higher than the coupon rate. So don't forget that coupon rate is the stated rate. So that means the bond pays an interest rate of 8%. However, your required rate of return is 10%. You want to earn a return of 10% by investing in this bond. And that is only possible if you buy this bond at a price lower than the face value. Okay, so as a result, you get a coupon rate of 8%, and you buy the bond at a price less than the face value, and you get the face value at the maturity. So you earn an additional return. And altogether, your overall return will be 10%. Okay, so which means that if your yield to maturity is greater than the coupon rate, then the bond will be issued at a discount. Okay, on the discount means the less than the par value. On the other hand, if the yield to maturity is less, for example, say 8%, whereas the coupon rate is 10%, then the bond will be issued at a premium. Premium means at a price higher than the par value. Why? Because your required rate of return is 8%, for example. You want to earn 8%. However, the bond offers you a coupon rate of 10%. So you will be willing to buy this bond at a price higher than the par value because it is paying you higher than what you require. Okay. You are looking at a bond that has an 8% annual coupon and a face value of 1,000. There are 9 years to maturity. So this is a very similar. Example, right? But this is the relationship that I just mentioned, that its yield to maturity is 6% and its coupon rate is 8%. That means it's a stated interest rate is more than your required rate of return. And that's why the value of the bond is more than the face value, you see? So the reason it is, as I said, that since its stated rate is more than your required rate of return, so you will be willing to pay a higher price for that. Okay, so that's why the bond is issued at a premium. That means at a price higher than the par value. Now, our so far example showed that the coupon is paid once in a year, or the annual coupon. However, the coupon also may be paid semi-annual. Okay, and if that is the case, your coupon needs to be divided by 2, you can see, and the required rate of return also needs to be divided by 2, and the number of years, that means the years to maturity, should be multiplied by 2. Okay. Okay, so look at this example. Face value is 1,000 and half yearly coupon is $35. So half yearly YTM is 4%. Okay. As a result, now you can see how the formula looks like. It's 35 because the annual coupon was divided. And 4%, the annual YTM is divided by 2. Okay. And this is also number of years multiplied by 2. Okay. So the value is 947.16. Okay, now let's talk about interest rate risk. Look, the risk that arises for bond owners from fluctuating interest rates in the market, this is called interest rate risk. Okay, now how much interest rate risk a bond has depends on how sensitive its price to interest rate changes. This sensitivity depends on 2 things. One is the time to maturity, another is coupon rate. Okay. As I mentioned previously, as interest rate changes in the market, the bond value will also change. Okay. And now how much each will change, that depends on, as I said, time to maturity and the coupon rate. Okay. Now, we need to note 2 points here, that all other things being equal, longer the time to maturity, then interest rate sensitivity will be higher, and lower the coupon rate, the interest rate sensitivity will also be higher. Okay. So longer maturity means you have more time until the maturity. That's why any interest rate changes, when there is any interest rate changes, investor will be more sensitive to these interest rate changes. So they will try to either invest in the bond or they will try to get rid of the bond. Okay, that's why the bond value will change. The same is for coupon rate. Coupon rate is relatively lower, that any change in the market will make it more impact on the value of the bond. Now, reinvestment risk is, when you have an investment in a bond, then you get the interim cash flows. Okay. So when there is an uncertainty that these interim cash flows may need to be reinvested at a lower rate, then the reinvestment risk is associated with a bond investment. Like if you have a bond, right, you calculate the required rate of return, for example, 10%. It is implicitly assuming that the interim cash flows, for example, yearly coupon that you receive, will be reinvested at this rate. However, they will be reinvested at the prevailing interest rate at that time, and which may be lower. Okay, so if this risk is there, then it is called reinvestment risk. Okay, now you remember I mentioned that 2 points determine the sensitiveness of a bond value to the interest rate change. One is the time to maturity, another is the lower coupon rate, right? Longer the maturity, another is lower the coupon rate. Now let's illustrate this here by this figure. Okay. So in this figure, we compute and plot prices under different interest rate scenarios for a 10% coupon bonds with maturity of 1 year and 30 year. Okay, so you can see that this red line shows the 30-year bond and this blue line shows 1 year bond, and these are the different interest rates, okay, from 5% to 20%, and from 2000, and these are the bond values. Okay, so you can see that this 30-year bond has a higher slope, okay, indicating that for a given change in interest rate, this 30-year bond value changes more than the bond value change for a 1-year bond. Okay. So as I said that this steepness, the red line is steeper, which indicates that relatively small change in interest rate will lead to a substantial change in bond value. Okay. So these calculations are showing here. Look, the other point was about the coupon rate. The reason that bonds with lower coupons have greater interest rate risk is easy to understand. So as we discussed that the value of a bond depends on the present value of its coupons and the present value of the face value, right? Now, if two bonds with different coupon rates have the same maturity, then the value of the one with the lower coupon is proportionately more dependent on the face value amount to be received at maturity, right? As a result, all other things being equal, its value will fluctuate more as interest rate changes. Okay, so put another way, the bond with the higher coupon has a larger cash flow early in its life, so its value is less sensitive to the changes in the discount rate. Okay, so in simple terms, this phenomenon of low coupon payments and high interest rate sensitivity is known as the duration. Okay. So as we already discussed, that YTM or the yield to maturity is a overall or the average return that is earned by an investor from a bond for the overall investment period in the bond. Okay. Now, how this YTM is calculated? It's essentially a trial and error method. We have learned this trial and error process earlier. That first of all, you need to try with a certain required rate of return and compare the bond value with the quoted price, and you need to find out whether there is any difference, and you need to continue this process until these two prices are the same. Okay, so this is a summary of the bond valuation. So you can see that as we learned, this part is the present value of the coupon, and this is the present value of the principal value. And finding the yield on a bond is essentially a trial and error method, as we discussed. So I already discussed this point that when YTM and coupon rate are same, the bond will be issued at its par value. So par value at the bond price will be the same. When YTM is greater than the coupon rate, then the par value will be greater than the bond price. That means the bond will be issued at a discount. Okay, as I already said, because since your required rate of return is higher, you must be able to buy the bond at a discounted price so that you can earn your required rate of return. On the other hand, if YTM is less than the coupon rate, then your par value will be less than the bond price. So bond will be issued at a higher price. That means will be issued at a premium, because that will enable you to earn your YTM, and you will be willing to buy it at a premium as its coupon rate is higher than your required rate of return. Okay, you also can use Excel spreadsheet functions to calculate the price and yield. Okay, so this is the end of our discussion on bond features and the bond valuation. Thank you very much.